This podcast is part of the Big Heads Media Podcast Network. Go to bigheadsmedia.com for more great podcasts.
This is Things I've Found Online. And today you have found this fine program on which we will be discussing the world of niche social networks. What is a niche network? Well, it's sort of like the corner store where you go to buy those big fluffy bagels. Or maybe it's more like a farmer's market. Yeah, that's what it is. No, wait a minute. It's actually like a Sunday crafts fair with hand-thrown pottery and your neighbor Kim's carved cat trees. No, hold it. Wait. All wrong. It's like when you go to a bazaar in Accra and you know that they're going to have exotic spices.
No, Jamie, your intro is getting super niche.
But let's talk about any spices.
Yeah. Just go ahead and introduce the panel.
Okay, our panel already is Danny Man, and I'm Jamie Elcroft, and we've got our host, Louise Polenka.
Anchor. So inclusive.
Wheezy.
Yes, we are talking niche social media. Do you say niche or niche? How do you say it?
Niche, I think.
Sean Connery says niche, but he means his brother's daughter.
Yes, my niche.
That's my niche.
Yes, she's a very attractive young lady.
So joining us for the conversation are tech founder and social media innovator, Jen Friel.
Jen
comes with a website.
Hi, Jen.
Yes.
Please click.
I do. It's called talknerdytomelover.com.
And then you've got a landing page, the
Yes.
Jen Friel landing page.
Happy landing.
Upon which
you
can hover and browse. And then we have pop star / futurist, Shalita.
Yay!
And Shalita is joining us.
Shalita.
And Shalita has a really, really cool landing page. And then you can
And
click
icons on her nose.
The Twitters are right on her nose. So it tickles a little when people click there.
It must.
And we have writer, director, producer Anna Lydia Monaco, who comes with a website.
And a lot of hyphens.
Anna Lydia Monaco. And she's a writer, director, producer. And Anna is sitting in front of her computer, refreshing pages, awaiting. Please help us understand. There's something very exciting about to happen.
That is refreshing.
In your future, correct, Anna?
Well, I'm a script coordinator on a major feature film. And just as you said that, I actually received a request to resend pages for some shoots that are happening starting tomorrow. So I have to be in front of the computer to send out scene pages
Of course you
ASAP
do.
as they request them.
Yeah, the yellow pages,
she's a
the
multitasker.
pink pages,
I think
the
we're on
green
magenta
pages.
by now, aren't we?
We should be on magenta.
Believe it or not, we're
On the
in
rewrites.
cherry.
So what she's referring to and what all the media pros on the panel are referring to is that when they update the script, it's a different color this time. That way, if they're all kind of like stacked up in your dressing room, you know which one to grab. Or you open up your dressing room, your trailer door and yell, "What color?" And somebody yells, you know.
Exactly. And if it looks like a rainbow, the writers don't know what the hell they're
Then
doing.
they just put, I used to be a PA, we just put out a new draft. If there's too many colors, people get confused.
Oh, I see.
Oh, okay. Well, we're
All right,
wrong.
so I would love for each of our guests to give us a little background on yourself and how you use social media. Let's start with Jen.
Yeah, so hi guys, at Jen Friel, at talknerdytomelover on Instagram. So I use social media as a utility. So in May of 2010, I gave up everything that I owned and I bartered social media to live for a year. I got to 12 states with $10 to my name. I crashed the Grammy Awards using Twitter. I danced on stage with Prince. And then I also went on 103 dates in 9 months and documented the organic route of attraction. So I use social media to optimize my own life to live a better life.
That's
I did all
wonderful.
of that except for Prince.
Yeah.
The Prince part. Yeah. And she met Buzz Aldrin.
Yeah, I did. I spent New Year's with Buzz Aldrin.
Yeah.
It was amazing. Yeah, I just showed her the pictures before because there's a photo of him in the room. Yeah, he's I can proudly say that I'm in his social circle. How cool is that?
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Wow.
I met him, but he wouldn't let me in his social circle.
He wouldn't let me in his capsule.
Yeah, he friended me but unfollowed.
Wow.
I'm getting there.
You're getting there.
Buzz can be so flaky that way.
Well,
Okay, Anna.
he's spacey.
He's spacey.
Sorry.
He never hears these kinds of puns.
No,
I'm
never.
sure never.
Not up there.
So
No.
Anna, and your Anna is a semi-regular. So tell us a little bit about how you use social media and how that enhances what it is you're attempting to do professionally.
A silence ensued.
Mm-hmm. She's thinking.
She's refreshing the
She's
page.
thinking.
She's freshing her brain.
Are you there, Shalita?
I am here.
Do you still love us?
I still love you.
Oh, yay.
Oh, great.
Okay, so tell us about how you use social media professionally, because you're kind of like, you're really good at technology. Like, technology is something that's coming at you and you're like, bring it.
I mean, I use it in various ways. I use it for music marketing. I use it to study the behavior of humanity, because I think it's very important to see how different organizations of human beings, whether it's communities or niche communities, whether it's different organizations, interact online, and segment that behavior into what type of desired action I would like them to take.
I see. So you use it like as a tool, then you've sharpened your tool so that you can be kind of surgical about it, because you understand these patterns and these social patterns and what it means. And then, if things are kind of like moving in this direction, then what I could do to optimize that is I could come over here and say this, and then that will influence behaviors and how people think and feel.
Yeah.
Well, more so looking at their actual behavior.
Okay.
What they're actually doing, to see where you can fill in the needs.
So you're like ninja social
online that people don't want because they're not listening to what people want.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah. What were we saying? So you're basically manipulating civilizations all over the world. Is that right?
I would say I'm elevating consciousness for myself.
There you
now.
go.
She puts it better.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
So would
Much
you say
better.
that like a lot of people, the way a lot of people use social media is that they see something and then they just react by shouting, and you see something and you go, okay, let me hear you and then let me respond accordingly, rather than just trying to all caps you
knee-jerk
into
Yes,
silence.
and people that are shouting and being like trolls, they like attention. And so when you show them love and compassion, it really changes their lives.
Because they're not used to that.
Told you, Louise, if you treated me nicer.
All right, lowercase. Yeah, but it's like interesting, because I think what you have to do is take a deep breath and feel what you're feeling, and then think before you type. Because what most people have been doing isn't really working. They just want to be heard, and then it's just making other people angry. So can you give an example, Shalita, of how maybe you saw something that made you angry, but then you reacted in a way that was more open to what the person was trying to communicate?
Oh, yes. So I post a lot of music because I'm a musician, and sometimes some people will say some negative comments about the music or about me, and sometimes it's racial comments and just things that are really inappropriate. And instead of being angry at those people, what I do is I contact them and I have an engaging conversation with them. And I tell them about the love that I have for them and the love that the universe has for them. And most of the time when I contact them like that, they're shocked that I'm not like angry at them, or that I'm not shouting at them and getting mad.
Do they attempt to defend what they did at that point when it becomes face-to-face or one-to-one like that?
Yes. Sometimes they try to defend their position, and it's not my job to disarm their position. It's my job to show them love and compassion. So it's not there for me to agree or disagree. It's not there for me to judge them. It's just for me, I just try to open up the space of love and compassion. I think the world needs way more love and compassion instead of anger and, hurt and
ego.
Ego. Yeah.
Because that's where a lot of it comes from.
And it's the only thing that there's just too little of.
I think that a lot of it comes from fear, and a lot of people are fearful that the world is changing in ways that they won't recognize, or that they won't understand, or that won't understand them. And so when you're kind of giving them what they wanted your attention, and you're giving it to them in a way that's much healthier than what they usually get if they're people who behave that way.
Well, another thing is fear to me is an illusion. It's something that's not real. It's something that's created by the mind based on different positionalities that we have within our constructs of what the world is to us. And so when we create this construct of fear, it's threatening this need to feel safe. And so for most people, they shout out, they have hate, they have this or that because they don't feel safe in the world. And so when you create a space of conversation that's a safe place, it changes people's lives, and it creates an environment where people can really connect to one another.
And when we know each other, we're way less fearful.
Absolutely. It goes back to what you said earlier, that people just start typing and writing stuff without thinking about what they're writing and without taking possession of the fact that this is reflecting upon them. That you can't just shout out and cap out to people. You have to think about it, and unfortunately, a lot of people, with the internet, there are no editors. Everybody's become an author.
And to Jamie's point, exactly. And I don't do a lot of these social media things, but even an email, like occasionally there'll be something, and I go, God, and I'll type this thing, but I look at it and I put it in the draft mode. I don't send it.
Right.
Almost automatically. I'll look at it a day or two later, and a lot of times I don't send them. Just writing it, got it, helped me process it. I look at it and I go, okay, I don't need to send that. I know how I think, and I know how to approach them next time.
Because you've been raised well.
And that's wise. Another good one is, how would it feel if I read this? What I'm typing right now, even though you think the person deserves it, how would it feel if I received this email?
Walk a mile in his moccasins.
Did you have something, Lane? Anna on phone will come back. Okay, she's got
Busy
a lot of
girl.
balls up in that air, right? You wouldn't want to be her floor.
I'm glad you finished that.
You're going to get hit in the face with a ball.
Oh, that's my old act.
Yeah.
I've got so many balls in the air. Standing on my head.
In social media, as in real life, we are seeking a sense of belonging. We look for like-minded folks, and we aim to find and create a community that mirrors and supports our values. But as much as we are drawn to the warmth of the screen, we also know that we will be stumbling through barbs and brambles of hostility, rage, frustration, FOMO, and tangled toxicity. FOMO. Good news! There's a clearing in this forest, and it's called niche networks. These are communities built around specific interests and pursuits. And the intimacy of these networks encourages and nurtures kindness, cooperation, and decorum. So here we go with a Medium article by Marie Ennis O'Connor called Going Beyond Facebook, 18 Niche Social Media Sites You Should Explore. Gentlemen, the link, please.
Isn't it niche?
I believe it is niche.
Danny, please correct me. I don't know how to say words.
No, it is niche.
It's
French.
Louise.
Niche.
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 You have to say it with a French accent. Okay, niche. Panel and guests, I will encourage you to offer your experiences with any of these networks. Who would like to read along? We'll go with number one. Scroll down. Number one is called, this is a niche network that you can, I guess most of these are apps or websites. What you can find them usually in different formats depending on.
I'd like to take this, Miss Planker.
Yes, please.
Okay. All Recipes. This recipe sharing and cooking community was founded in 1997. Gosh, in the last
put
century,
the food in the fridge.
In the last century, after co-founder Hunt had trouble finding his favorite cookie recipe on the internet.
Where's my recipe?
The recipes on the website are posted by members of the allrecipes.com community, and they are categorized by season, type, such as appetizer or dessert, and ingredient. Search functionally supports requiring and excluding specific ingredients. Other categories include methods such as grilling or baking, occasions, and cooking style. There is support for finding meal ideas for specific holidays. I visited this today. I went on All Recipes.
Yeah, you love cooking.
I love cooking.
I'm obsessed with All Recipes. I have to share this. I have an actual binder devoted just to the recipes that I like on All Recipes, because every other search engine and things that I've used for recipes pales in comparison. So I have a deep loyalty to All Recipes. Like when you go to print out one of the recipes and get the ingredients at the store, it even exports and do a really printer friendly format. And so it's just got the best search. I'll look at my fridge and just see 2 things in there, and I'm like, well, what can I do with this? And it just pulls up all of this information, because it's not just that the information's out there, it's how easy it is to digest as the consumer. So that's what's super important about social networks, is how searches actually aggregate. And so if you have a poor search aggregate, then the consumer's not going to find the content.
So it's got to be reference, cross-reference, because there's all different kinds of ways that you're going to come at the information, and they've thought of it all.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I looked up the mayonnaise potatoes today.
Ooh.
Yeah, that looked pretty cool.
And you did not bring me any.
I didn't. I didn't have time to cook. I didn't have time.
Mayonnaise tomatoes or Leonese tomatoes?
No, mayonnaise
tomatoes.
Crazy.
So, Danny, number 2.
Danny, number 2.
Crazy stuff.
I don't know what to look at.
Well, you could look at the screen.
Well, I'm not reading.
There it is.
It's not reading well up there. You may have to skip me or put something.
Oh, I could read it. Danny brings several glasses to the table, and he may not have a set of glasses for looking at the screen.
And each week they surprise me with something. Can you read the stamp that's on the wall in the corner? It's like,
here, Danny, read from my iPad, but don't touch the screen like my husband does. And then he's like, get it back.
Don't touch
the screen.
How do I know how your screen likes to be touched?
I know.
So is this Behance?
Behance.
He's a screen toucher.
Aren't we all in a way?
Mm-hmm.
An online platform to showcase and discover creative work. People join Behance, not Beyonce, not to be mistaken with a singer.
It might be Beyonce.
Maybe it is. Maybe
it's niche.
That's his brother's daughter. And build profiles consisting of projects members of Behance can follow your profile, and you can, in turn, follow other members. When you follow someone, their updates, projects they've uploaded, appreciated, or added to a collection appear in your For You page.
Okay, has anyone read this description and still have no idea what happened?
I just did, and you gave me the hardest one on the earth to do with my bad glasses.
To showcase and discover creative work.
I think it's
What
Behance.
do you mean by creative work?
Bottom line.
Like, do you make montages?
Anything.
What do you do?
It's actually,
Like art. It's art.
Partner with Photoshop. And
Oh,
Oh.
Shalita! Thank goodness for you. It's partnered with Photoshop, so it is kind of like a graphic form of expression where you use different types of.
No.
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 Okay.
The way it works
Correct
is
me.
But you get a
after
lovely
download
consolation
the Adobe
prize.
Suite,
Hmm.
it automatically takes everything you do in all the Adobe products like Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign, and it creates a portfolio of your work. And if
Okay.
you want,
Oh.
you can take that portfolio and put it online by a click of a button, and then the entire community that uses that as well can look at your portfolio work and collaborate with you as a creator.
Oh, that's
You
wonderful.
know your stuff.
To what purpose?
Yeah.
To what end?
To get jobs as a graphic artist or any
To
type.
get jobs as a graphic designer, to get jobs doing band posters. and
Okay.
there's
So it's for people that are pursuing that line of endeavor in their life, as opposed to just a hobbyist, perhaps.
Or maybe it's for people who are looking for someone.
Yeah, because my daughter's trying to. She's going to make she's done a lot of music videos, as you do. No, she wants to do an animated music video. So she's looking for someone
Tell
to
Shalita
do
who
an
your daughter
animated
is.
music video.
She may know her. Shalita's a very famous
Do you know
musician.
Haley Kiyoko?
I know who that is. I don't know her personally.
Okay, that's my
Wait,
daughter.
Kaylee
I
Cuoco?
know her. I know her personally. Not Kaylee Cuoco.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
She's on Big Bang Theory.
Yes.
It's Haley Kiyoko.
Got it.
And they actually grew up about 5 miles away from each other.
Army archers
Oh,
would
that's
say,
cool.
getting each other's mail.
But their names harmonize.
Yeah, very nicely.
Number
Yes.
3 is BlogHer. BlogHer is a community and media company founded as a conference in 2005. In 2006, BlogHer started a group blog featuring over 60 women blogging on a variety of subjects. Its forums expanded to include a large worldwide community of bloggers who are women. Anyone familiar?
I've been to their conference before and a couple of their like meetups and whatnot. They actually have a really strong community. They have a really passionate community. Like people that are in it are really in it and will show up to different meetups and things like that. So yeah, they're very passionate.
That just made me
Number-
think of Dan
As they
Blocker,
should
who
be.
was on Bonanza.
Dan Blocker's very, very
He
good.
was very passionate. Yeah.
Number 4, Jen.
Okay. So number 4 is Berta Style, if I'm pronouncing that accurately. Berta Style is a community website for people who sew or would like to learn how.
Excellent.
And you have to learn how to sew?
I think it's probably
I mean-
for hardcore sewers.
Yeah.
Maybe.
hard-
Yeah,
but
but
also
it may
to
have
learn, though,
stuff
right?
for beginners
Quilters
too.
and
Like,
stuff.
well, when I was a kid, you would get the patterns, and then you'd go and get the fabrics
Yeah.
at Joann's.
Sure.
You know,
Oh, yeah,
Sure.
I've heard of this.
and they had Butterick, and so maybe they have the patterns, and all you have to do is go
Maybe.
buy the fabric, and then you can make.
And
Why
then-
did- they should have called it So What?
I think so.
Okay, I just got off a lot of travel, and I've been to a lot of different cities. Whirlwind, and it's my contention that every cute little touristy city has a store called Knitwit
Yeah.
for people who like to knit.
To knit. Yes.
Ah, yes.
They do have knitwits. Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
They definitely have one. Okay, so
The
number
very small
5
genre of
it's a genre of
yeah,
knitting.
knitting
store.
humor. You know,
It's
that
ni-
tiny
it's
world.
very
Knit is
funny.
Knitwit.
Yeah. What kind of needles are you using on that?
But yeah, if you
All
go, like that's
depends.
an example of a store where if you go in it's like a social network in real life where everyone there loves knitting. Like you're not in there if you don't love knitting, whether you work there or you're shopping, and you could ask people anything and they'll help you.
And they'll tell you a yarn.
We'll all be.
All right.
Ooh, the dad jokes.
Boy, I know how to stop a conversation, don't I?
This is where his kids would be like, Dad. I mean, I need you to stop it.
Dad.
Stop it.
Well, I'm going to go back to the sewing thing and try to follow that thread.
All right, number 5.
Oh.
Number 5.
Old school.
Do you want to do this one, Dina?
I lost my email. Do you have it up? I had it up,
well,
and now I
it.
accidentally
Here,
deleted
here you
it.
go.
It's on the
Okay.
screen.
I lost
too.
my emails right behind my dog in my project.
Right.
Go for it, kiddo.
CareTo. Want to start a petition? Show your support for a cause you care about? Then CareTo is the place to go. The goal of the site is to connect activists from around the world with other individuals, organizations, and responsible businesses making an impact.
Okay.
I love this website. I've used it many times.
How do you use it, Shalita?
Several different petitions. One got the KFC by my old high school closed down.
Really?
Yes.
Where
and
am I
did
supposed to
another one
have
about
lunch?
Plants and plants having feelings and saving the wells. And
So have you ever started a petition?
yes, I've started several petitions.
So tell me how that goes and what inspires you to do it and then how you go about getting people to sign it.
And do they work? Mm-hmm.
Oh, it does. It does work. It definitely works.
Good.
Think of it kind of like a survey. It's like, let's say you had to get 10,000 signatures to get one action for the business to change, right? So maybe it's a product that needs to be in the grocery store that's super healthy for the community and they don't have any healthcare products for people. And you get 10,000 signatures that shows the grocery store owner, look, this is something the community wants. So it's not just, social justice causes. It could be something down to what the community needs, not just like the regular social justice causes that people think about, like saving the wells and helping, foster care dogs and kittens. I've done that as well.
When do you sleep? I mean, you sound like you stay very busy.
Shalita, were you that kid? Because Jen here is also a very early bloomer. Were you that kid where your parents were just like, what?
The only time I see the morning is when I don't sleep, which is often. I do not wake up early at all.
Mm-hmm.
I do not wake up early.
Were you always busy thinking about how you could change the world?
I don't think about how I can change the world. I change the world, and we all can change the world. And I can't do it alone, but we can do it together.
I like everything that comes out of your mouth could be a T-shirt too.
Right.
You speak very eloquently and little nuggets that are very memorable.
Yeah, it's very inspiring. Number 6, Jamie?
Oh, number 6, of course, that's me.
I'll have the number 6.
I'll have the Dogster. It's the Dogster.
A dating site for dogs.
Seasoned pet parents turn to the magazine and website for expert information and entertainment. Each issue of the magazine includes legal and medical developments, health tips, behavior and training, nutrition, travel, and activities. The latest dog projects, I don't want to miss out on those. Breed profiles, adoption, giving back to the dog community, working and rescue dogs. Dogster is its sister publication. Its sister publication is Catster, a bi-monthly magazine and website for cat lovers.
Now, what if your pets can't read? What do you do?
I really don't know. You got to read to them.
I ran a bunch of last year. I ran a bunch of social media pages and social content for a bunch of pet food brands. Actually, I've never been more terrified to engage with the audience before. I thought I had seen it all.
Why?
And they are just extremely aggressive, irate. Like if there was any sort of a slight ingredient change, you heard about it immediately, and it was like the end of the world. And it was just I have so much passion and conviction for my own animal, but it was slightly terrifying. I never told anybody I ran those pages because I didn't want to be like shot somewhere. It was just it was a strange life experience, but they were just incredibly intense and flat out nasty in a lot of ways, which was really surprising.
Theory. I have a theory, Shalita, because Shalita is my human nature expert for today.
Oh.
My theory is that some people who are have an edge to them. They love dogs and cats so much because no matter how edgy they are, the dog still loves you. and then that causes this kind of like circle of just being like, my dog is the only person who gets me, and then when they encounter humans, they become increasingly hostile. Is that possible, Shalita?
That makes a lot of sense.
I think what's happening is some of those people that are reaching out about the particular ingredients, some of their pets could be allergic to those ingredients.
Oh, sure.
And that's why they were outraged. I think another thing is they're taking things too personal.
Right.
They think it's about them on why the change happened, and they can't see outside of themselves because their ego is in supercharge mode.
You're so forgiving.
She is, but I think that they haven't mastered the skill of like delicately speaking to people the way Shalita has on Twitter, and so they sometimes
blurt.
They're off-putting, but their dog comes running up to them every time they come home, no matter what.
Let's not forget that change is terrifying in general for most people. Change of any kind.
Imagine the person receiving the way that you're experiencing them just holds a space of love and compassion and doesn't even call attention to how hostile the other person's being. Imagine how that changes their behavior.
Did you try that,
and
Jen?
that's actually what I did. Yeah. So I follow the mantra of like, do not feed the trolls. And so I just absolutely do not respond to people who were just so like took it so personally that the brand was like against them and this, that, and the other thing. So I have a hard stop, and I had to explain that to the founder too, because I'm like, I have a hard stop with I do not engage, I do not feed trolls, I'm not a part of this. But it was just brutal. Like, again, I was like terrified to check our Facebook like emails and
what
DMs.
If you have a dog named Trolls? You have to feed him.
Also,
you have to
hasn't
feed
all
him.
of this stuff given actual trolls from fairy tales, a bad name? Because they weren't that mean and terrible to start with.
They're also cute little dolls from the 60s.
I know.
They don't have a website. They don't have any place you can go to.
I just feel
There's
bad
not
for trolls.
Trollster or anything like that.
Trollster. Well, we can start one.
There's
okay.
Reddit.
Number 7.
This is like a slow Letterman's top 10 list.
Number 7 is Dibble with lots of B's. Okay, Dibble is an online community for showcasing user-made art. Founded in 2009, it's one of the largest platforms for designers to share their work online. Dibble functions as a self-promotion and networking platform for graphic design, web design, illustration, photography, and other creative areas.
So they don't make party cups.
Well,
they
where
might.
you dribble.
Is it
Dribble
3
cups?
B's? Is that the right?
it sounds like DeviantArt.
That's it. I was just thinking the
It's a
same thing.
competition to Etsy.
Okay.
The crowd said.
Okay.
So Shalita, did some of these places start out as just a website for and then become a social network when we realized that things are much more engaging if you make friends there?
They morphed.
Behance was always a social network, even before the Facebooks of the world came out.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yes.
So we're all
Because
kind
their
of
focus such on like the niche community, it wasn't something that was mainstream because it's niche.
right. I have to admit to you, Anna's back.
You won something.
I'm very, very partial
The
to
brownies
number
are done.
8. It's my favorite. Jamie.
Okay. Gentlemint. Gentlemint is a free social networking site that requires registration to use. Members are able to upload links to content known as tags through collections. These can also incorporate media such as photos, videos, and other content. Although registration is not limited exclusively to men, its focus is on sharing links, photos, and videos based on manly content. Gentlemint has often been called Pinterest for men.
We are not
That's
amused.
so funny.
How
It's
awesome
like-
is that? So it's like pictures of trucks.
Content thing. Isn't that the entire world?
Yes, but it's like
like, don't they have the entire world?
it gives men an opportunity to be like, isn't my truck pretty?
Yeah.
It's like when you're at the store, like the drugstore, and there's like, here's the stuff that's for men, like
Right.
because it's a different color. Like we can't have men have like orange or pink products. So
Well, it's like
like
giving
men
men
can't be on Pinterest. They have to have their
There's
own.
a bear
Right.
on it.
It gives them permission to be. to
Am I
be
dreaming or
expressive.
did the room just turn?
It smells like pine.
Yeah. I buy all my tampons are always camouflaged.
Just keep your tampon.
How do you find them?
Dina, would you read about Goodreads?
They're not camouflaged that well.
Goodreads.
No strings.
Goodreads is a book review and recommendation site that allows individuals to freely search its database of books, annotations, and reviews. On the Goodreads website, users can add books to their personal bookshelves, rate and review books, see what their friends and authors are reading, participate in discussion boards and groups on a variety of topics, and get suggestions for future reading choices based on their reviews of previously read books. Once users have added friends to their profile, they will see their friends' shelves and reviews and can comment on friends' pages.
All right, I use Goodreads. However, it does feel like homework. Like I have to do a book report. So it feels like when I get behind on Goodreads, I'm like, oh, I have to catch up on Goodreads. And all I do is like give them stars. I don't write anything because it feels like a book report. Shalita.
I love Goodreads.
Okay, good. I love it.
I have several different usernames.
Really? Why?
Yeah.
So that
You're like
everybody
Mitt Romney.
I read because I read certain types of books.
Okay.
And, it's like if people knew how
That's
curious I
amazing.
was about certain subjects, they would look at me differently.
Really?
Oh.
Yeah.
I think of you as just like this fascinating creature. Like you have all these different aspects to you. Like I think you should be proud of that.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
So
What is your
okay.
What is your
Read about
favorite
everything.
genre of book?
Me?
Yes.
Honestly, nonfiction.
Me too.
I love
Same,
math books.
same.
I love
Math
reading
books.
about algorithms. I
Wow.
love reading about the universe. I love reading about microbiology and plants and the plant structures.
Cool.
That's
And how I
cool.
can relate that back down to actual humanity, because everything created by us is created by us. So if we study plants, we're still studying them from a humanistic standpoint.
Wow.
I'm that way about, like you were just saying, Shalita, I'm that way actually about music that you are with books, where like music for me, so Spotify automatically shares your music. So if you are following someone, you can kind of see what they're listening to, see their playlist. So, and particularly at night. But I put it in private mode because I think music is the most intimate sort of connection that you have to whatever is inside my brain. So it utterly terrifies me that that's a feature that I have to manually remember to like turn off. So and then I have to actively like make sure my playlists are hidden just because it's something so personal and it's like inside my head, and that's just, it's a little too much for me. But
Well,
I feel I totally understand where you're coming from.
I have a question then for Jamie and Danny and for me. Do we get to an age where we're like, just like, you know what? Screw it. I like ABBA. Okay?
Yeah. I don't
Deal.
really care.
So,
who
because
cares.
I think you get to an age where you don't feel so judged. You just own it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Did that happen to you? Because it happened to me.
Yeah, I don't care.
I used to hide my records from my friends. I had way too many Letterman records for my friends to know about. I was into the Letterman. Yeah.
You know what's funny? I talk about music with people all the time, and I love talking about it with people much younger than me because it's really interesting to see, how, and plus the whole internet reaction thing that we're talking about here is that there's that thing immediately like, oh, I hate that stuff. How do you
I
it's
like
right
their
away to
old
bash.
stuff. Then they sold out.
But right away it's to bash, and it's a lot of it's coming from people who've never tried to write a song, don't have any musical. So if you kind of talk to them about the process of it a little bit, or say, who do you like? I like so-and-so. So-and-so used to listen to that and used to listen to that and was inspired by
Was
this.
influenced
and
by.
they go, oh, like they're only seeing this and they're not seeing that.
Yeah.
Which I'm
Right.
really,
Well, I was always like into my parents' record collection, and I was always like digging deep and to find out like to learn. I wanted to learn like all of the classics and all of the American Songbook and all of that kind of stuff, while everyone else was listening to whatever had just been released. Like
Right.
music wasn't worthy unless it was extremely modern.
I actually got called out by my neighbor. This was 2 boyfriends ago, and I got called out by my neighbor.
Is that how you keep track of time?
my
So I
God,
keep track. 2
is it
boyfriends
that
ago.
late? Is it that late already?
2 boyfriends ago, and
My God, the brownies are done.
it was such a heartbreaking breakup for me, and it taught me a lot.
sorry.
But I listened over and over and over. I have a big screen TV and I have a Bose surround system, and my TV just happened to be in like the main living room area, which is right by where his door was. I listened to "Nobody Wants to Be Lonely" by Christina Aguilera and Ricky Martin so much that he expressed concern and knocked on my door to make sure I was okay.
Oh, that's
That is a
sweet.
great
And you
record.
let him go?
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah.
It hurts.
Yeah, it's
He's
All
so
right, we're going to
sweet.
break for commercial, and then we're going to come back with Niche Network number 10.
Hi, this is Brad,
And this is Katie.
and we're the hosts of
Decomposition Podcast.
I think considering the material we're working with, that language was neither shocking nor inappropriate.
It's
Good enough for me.
upsetting and delightful. Much like
Yeah.
this song.
No, there's just rhyming nonsense.
Yeah, here to hyperanalyze all your favorite terrible songs.
From Billy Joel to Taylor Swift.
And Pitbull to Kiss.
We break down what makes these songs so good.
While they're so bad. This is a postmodern commentary on human existence. Billy Shakespeare did write a whole bunch of sonnets. 154 to be exact. I am not suggesting that this is a good or artistic song in any way.
It's not good, but it's great.
You can find us at decompositionpodcast.simplecast.fm
or subscribe on iTunes or your favorite podcast app.
Check out our new episodes every Monday, and remember,
they're not guilty pleasures
if you don't feel guilty.
That is oddly apropos.
And what? As I was here,
this is Brad.
And this is
Brad.
Kate.
Hey, Brad.
Hey, Brad. I'm having Deja Brad.
You know what, Brad? It's our show.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have you ever baked Brad?
Put it on repeat.
No,
you go ahead, Danny.
Our whole show today and that commercial just now is about subjectivity, just how personal things are to people.
Or about
and it's like I'm seeing it through my prism, not yours or yours, and it's like there's a broader spectrum that we can think about, but it's like, it's not just about you and what you feel and love.
But that show, that show and the existence of that show is like sort of built around the construct that in order to admit that you like it, you have to qualify it as bad. Well, is it bad if you like it?
It's subjective. So who says it's bad?
I mean, I think you can recognize.
But
you can recognize.
No, they're just worried about judgment. It's not bad. If you like it.
I mean, you can be aware of the fact that there's objective standards to something that a particular whatever
I
song
think it's people
or book
trying
or
to,
whatever doesn't mean.
Trying to be cool and not wanting to seem uncool.
I will say that if enough people like a certain thing or something has won awards or sold millions of records, I'm apt to go, there might be something there. I should check it out.
Consider it.
Because there seems to be, a cluster around it. But it doesn't mean it's the best thing ever. And you might like something that nobody likes that's awesome.
I mean, the thing that I think a lot of people figure out as they get older is that things are highly personal. The things that
What
we
do you
like.
mean by that? Oh, you're right.
Don't take it personally.
The things we like are really based on what happened in our lives at the time that we experienced them.
Just going to say that occurrences.
That brought them into such an important, put them in such a special place.
It was the best song in the shtetl.
Yeah.
I had two dogs growing up, Max and Ginger. They were these little Cocker Spaniels. And the song Who Let the Dogs Out by the Baha Men, I swear to goodness, very true story. So it was when Gladiator came out. And so Max's full name was Maximus when he was in trouble. So he would chant and he would just start howling, thinking it was his name. And then this song by the Baha Men came out, Who Let the Dogs Out. And through a random series of circumstances, I wound up meeting the guys at some mall meet and greet.
You are so gumpy.
I was so excited to tell them that I was so I come charging up. I find out where the guys were after their performance and walked right up to him and I was like, "Hi, my name's Jen. My dog Max barks and howls along to your song. He loves it." You would have thought that I told them that their firstborn was dead. They took it so seriously and really did not like me. I did not make friends with the Baha Men that day.
One time I was talking to
that is unbelievable because it's you think they would get a kick out of that.
I know, I was like a 16-year-old kid.
One time
so
lighten up,
I was interviewing someone from Kool and the Gang and they had this one song where there was waves coming up on the beach sound at the beginning and I said, "I really like the toilet flush at the beginning of your song," and they just stone cold stared me. So, yeah, not funny. But Shalita, you are a musician. So do you worry about the hipness factor or appearing? No.
I'm making music for 3,000 years from now. So I never cared about the cool factor.
I hope I'm around to hear it.
That's awesome.
Well, there are songs that I have online now.
Well, I'll have to listen to you.
You might not have to wait that long.
Can we listen to something?
They're all hits.
I don't know if we can play it on the podcast because she's probably...
Are you with a label?
We may not be licensed to play.
My Shalita.
All right, number 10. Social network number 10 is... Go ahead, Dina.
Well, do you want to do this one? Because you use this one, right?
No.
Oh, you don't? What? All right, I'll do it.
I will separate you two.
How do you pronounce? Do you pronounce this like Youngstown?
House.
Niche.
Whose?
House.
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 A website and online community about architecture, interior design, and decorating. Landscape design and home improvement. A directory of home improvement professionals who use the site to connect with homeowners, can be used for consumers to search through different types of professionals for hire. That sounds very useful. View their previous projects and begin a discussion with them with questions and inquiries. Wow. I didn't know that.
To ultimately hire them.
Right.
If I might finish.
Right. Anyone use this one?
I've used it before. I actually prefer, though, kind of everything. It's more like gaming based, but it's called Design Home, and that has an amazing reach with it in terms of community because you play like against your friends. It's like a competition. You're competing to get 5 stars. So my 7th grade social studies teacher, who unfortunately passed away years ago, his wife plays, and so I reached out to her this past week because like she borrows some of my inventory. I'll borrow some of hers. I was like, this is so weird that like we're actually reconnecting over this in like the most beautiful way because her husband meant the world to me. So I think something like that is even interesting because they've found a way to gamify it, which is just it's super engaging.
So what do you try to do in the game? What happens?
You create designs, and the goal is to get 5 stars because then you get not only the prize. It's community driven, so you actually vote. Yeah, and it's not the easiest thing. They have like free options. You can buy like more diamonds. You can like earn them, whatever. But it's super fun, and it's a great way to kind of creatively express yourself, just super quick, in the morning or at night, and get that creative kick. But again, I was so shocked by the community aspect of it. I really, I love looking at my other friends' designs and maybe judging them, maybe not, but it's pretty cool.
There's even a star for attendance.
Yeah.
Number 11. Who would like to read?
So it's one more.
Shalita, do you have the script in front of you?
I do.
Would you like to read number 11?
Number 11 is Inspire. Inspire is a social network for health that connects patients and caregivers in a safe, permission-based manner.
Oh.
Hopefully they have permission. Members connect across time and space around the globe, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. There are resources for each other, sharing health information and support without regard to location, background, or status. Together, they reduce the feelings of isolation experienced by those with chronic conditions, cancer, and rare diseases.
Excellent.
Whoa, that's
really helpful.
Can I read a portion of that? Members connect across time and space.
All right, we love Inspire. Number 12 is Instructables. I like the title. It's a website specializing in user-created and uploaded do-it-yourself projects.
Which you can eat.
The site is dedicated to step-by-step collaboration among members to build a variety of projects. Users post instructions to their projects, usually accompanied by visual aids, and then interact through comment sections below each instructable step, as well as in topic forums.
Boy, I need that for IKEA.
So that's good for a DIYers. Yes. Number
Is that
13.
drunk driving?
Now, Lane,
Oh,
would
it's
you like to
DUI.
read?
No, that's
Lane
DUI.
uses number 13. Would you like to read the description, Lane?
Oh, are you on Letterboxd?
Yes.
Add me.
Okay, I'll add you. Letterbox
Oh my God.
is
Add me.
an online social network launched in 2011 as a social app focused on sharing opinions about and love of film. It is maintained by a small team in New Zealand. Members can use it as a diary to record their opinions about films, keep track of the films that they have seen in the past, write reviews, or make lists of films and showcase their favorites, as well as meet and interact with other cinephiles. Films can be rated, reviewed, included in a list, and tagged with relevant keywords.
All right, tell us how you use it, Lane.
The normal way. I use it for
to meet girls.
Yeah, exactly. It's a dating site. I use it to, like, whenever I see a film, I'll sit on it for a little bit, and then I'll log it, and then sit on it for a little bit and rate it and write a review.
So you keep a track of every film you've seen, so you can scroll back?
I try to, yeah. I don't do. I mean, sometimes I forget, but it's nice to. It's fun because it has a little bit of like a social network thing, and it's like a big extension of film Twitter. Like if you're in film Twitter, you usually have your letterbox tagged to your account, and like you'll post your reviews on Twitter. But I use it more for like personal, just like what did I think about the film, and then like I'll go back and.
Do you keep a watch list to like keep track of movies that you want to see that you haven't seen yet?
I haven't done that, but I probably should.
Yeah,
because I'm always just like. I'm always just like, I need to watch that film, and then I forget for 3 months. So,
Yeah.
but they just added a feature. I forget what company. They just partnered with this company to make like the where it's available function better. So now on Letterbox, it will tell you like every streaming service.
Oh, that's super helpful.
That the film is, which is a really big, because they used to do that, but it was like spotty, and now they partnered with some company that's their only role. That company only like figures out where stuff is streaming. So now it's like really accurate, which is cool.
That's really helpful.
That's pretty cool.
All right, Dina, you wanted to talk about Meetup, so here you go.
Well, I used Meetup. Like, I remember back in like 2000, whatever, 3 or 4, using Meetup to connect with people who were supporting John Kerry in the 2004 election, local, like people here in Los Angeles. And it's like the original niche network or collection of niche networks, because it's all about like people with specific interests looking to meet each other, but going offline then to do it.
Yeah, I mean, and we are going to be talking later on in the show about taking your online relationships offline, and like this show is a really good example of doing that. Like, we know Anna because we met her online, and we know Jen because we met her online, and so Meetup that's the original intent, was like, okay, online is fine, but let's meet up in real life, and they were kind of ahead of that curve. So does anyone have any Meetup experiences where they've used Meetup and met some interesting people?
I use Meetup to go on tour. So what I do when I'm going on tour internationally, like to, countries I've never been to, is I just contact the Meetup groups and I say, hey, I'd like to perform at a concert near you, and you can take your entire Meetup group and come to my concert, and they do.
Wow.
Super smart.
Well, that's a great
because
idea.
that entire website specializes on getting people to go somewhere to a physical location. And so that means the behavior of the people there want to go to physical locations.
Right. Yeah. Like, just give us something cool to go to. And you're like, I'm here.
Yeah, I went
Exactly.
I was going to say that's kind of inspiring too, because one gets the sense from all of this is that it's populated by people who love being alone in a dark room in front of a screen, doing all of this stuff. But the fact that it's triggering actual physical
interaction
is encouraging.
And it won't hurt you to go on Meetup and click off your interests, and then you don't have to ever go, but they'll start emailing you. Oh, there's a bunch of people who who like bananas, and they're all going to be at Panera Bread eating banana bread. Like, why not?
Why not? I went to a Beatles sing-along.
Okay.
Yeah, we were sitting around singing one night with some friends, and we were doing, some Beatles songs. And I thought, oh, well, that would be fun. So I went to a Beatles sing-along.
I'd like to hear a conversation between John and Paul featuring you and Danny as John and Paul.
Well, who do you want to be?
Right, well, I'll be John.
That's my favorite. I'll be Paul, because...
That's all right.
Well, a lot of people thought that we didn't like each other. We were like brothers, weren't we?
We love each other. We love each other. Love is all there is.
I know, but then all the lawyers got involved and everything.
I know, they mocked it up a bit.
But just in a room, playing...
They would know, man.
They don't know what it was like, do they?
Oh, no, not at all. Not at all. Oh, no. Growing up in Liverpool, it was a bit of a drag.
It was a well-known drag.
Right.
Yay!
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
We'll be here all week.
Number 15. This one is sad. I don't want to read it. Shalita, you read it.
Oh my gosh. My last wish.
Oh.
My wish is a unique social network for those who have a terminal illness. It was created to help people who share their similar dreams they wish to fulfill before they die. Users of this app, known as fellow wishers, are asked to post their final wish onto the wish wall and can choose to attach their email address or phone numbers so the others who want to do the same thing can get in touch.
Wow, that's
really
pretty cool.
Beautiful.
Yes, I've used this site. I fulfilled some wishes.
Oh, did you?
It was very sad.
Can you tell a story?
Nice.
Or is it too personal?
So, yes. So one of the wishes is one of these boys I won't mention his name due to his parents, wanted a new Takamine guitar. Ooh. And I just so happened to play a lot of Takamine guitars and he had one. And so I went to the hospital where he was at. I played him some songs and I gave him my guitar.
Oh,
so sweet.
So beautiful.
How wonderful. How wonderful.
Oh, I love that story.
And did you keep track of him?
I did. I did. He's no longer living, but
You're like Mother Teresa, but with nicer hair.
Did he leave the guitar to you in his will?
No, that should stay with his family.
No.
Yeah, it stays with his family.
He didn't think out that far.
No, that makes sense. That makes sense.
But hopefully the hospital gave that guitar to another child.
Oh, okay. That would be wonderful.
That's really sweet of you.
That's very sweet of you. It's wonderful.
Number 16, to take a sharp left, is Nextdoor.
Yeah, who chose
And I
to
think
end on that one? Yeah.
Who here is not familiar with Nextdoor?
Introduce the
I
comic.
love Nextdoor.
I'm familiar with Nextdoor because
love
Siri tells me every time I come here to go next door, not to your place.
Nextdoor is as if the internet were constantly going ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. Because even when you tell Nextdoor, I would like to get notified once a day, it notifies you 10 times a day. And if you tell Nextdoor, I don't want to be notified at all, that's how you get notified once a day.
Wow.
So their algorithm is like one step ahead of what you've requested.
Get to know your neighbors. Don't walk out of the house and meet them.
This came in the mail. This is Nextdoor is like ding dong, ding dong, ding dong.
Wow.
So this came in the mail. Take the guesswork out of Halloween with the Nextdoor. Ooh, I don't want to say the name of my street. But hi neighbor, your neighborhood is now using Nextdoor.
Main Street, USA.
I know.
I stopped using Nextdoor because fans would send me presents to my house.
Really?
Stalking me, so I had to cut off Nextdoor.
Oh, I get it.
yeah.
I get
They're
it.
like, "Whoa, this is your real address."
No,
Like,
She
can
leads a
swap it
more
out.
exciting life than all of us put together.
Really?
But you can swap it out actually, because that's what I did as well, just for a bunch of random creepers. No, I'm serious. So I
saw them in concert.
I have like a pseudonym. I have a pseudonym profile on there, so you can create a fake Gmail account. You can create fake access points to it. That all you need to do is just verify basically that. But yeah, I have dummy accounts just because I like to stay informed. I like to know what's going on in my neighborhood. I like to know when there are break-ins and things like that. It can get a little creepy sometimes, but just the things that people request too are so fascinating to my brain.
So niche.
Yeah. But it's awesome
so
because you have
creepy.
that kind of familiarity of, hey, we're all in this together. So I'm a huge fan.
Yeah.
Sounds
and
creepy.
I'm a fan of number 17, Quora. Jamie?
I am not so much because they're always talking about the Beatles and who liked who and who. Anyway, it's a question and answer website,
rubbish, isn't it?
I know it's really frustrating. Quora is a question and answer website where questions are asked, answered, and edited by users in the form of opinions. Again, we have no real editors. There's no factual information. Quora user base has been growing quickly since it started in 2010 with over 190 million monthly unique visitors. Quora World Meetup started in 2017 as a tradition for Quora users and writers to come to know each other, network, and have some fun.
So Quora,
and if enough of them show up, they have a quorum.
Over
so
fiction.
Quora meets Meetup. And the top Quora question is, where's the meetup?
Well, Quora is great, in terms of their email notifications. So it goes into, I think it's social or promotion, the tab. And so if I have extra time or I'm just trying to kill a couple of minutes, it knows that I like to research on Myers-Briggs. So it gives me all these different personality types and whatnot. And so that's always what's in my inbox. So I love it because they don't send as harassing messages as Nextdoor, which I agree with you, they're a bit excessive. But it does. It provides my inbox with some valuable feed, and I check it out, maybe a couple times a week, and I love it.
And you have interest in what?
Myers-Briggs. So it talks about the different personality types. Yeah, because I'm similar to Shalita. And actually, we've met before because of Scott Page from Pink Floyd. I don't know if you remember that years ago. But yeah, I'm so fascinated by studying people. And that's what kind of social media is great about because it's just so tangible. And you can spot patterns and things like that. So I'm fascinated by researching different personality types and how they respond to certain situations.
But instead of going out and meeting them, you sit there and you're fascinated by them online.
Because people present what they think is their best version of self. You can tell a lot about a person, especially when I was using online dating super actively. I could tell you everything about a person before I went on a date with them. I could give you and very specific details about who they are, how they present themselves. We're so transparent and in terms of how we promote ourselves. Even if we're using the same Instagram style picture that everybody else posts or things like that, that also says something about your personality type. But instead of you, I have a projection of you because this is what you're presenting to me. Now I'm taking in, you could look like my friend's cousin's brother once removed. Like when you're in person, you're not able to discern or sort of assess someone as accurately as I can digitally.
Oh,
wow.
Super
I don't
transparent.
agree with that.
Emotional counterpart that happens.
Absolutely.
That colors what you're seeing.
Right. That's interesting.
Gosh, who
so
are
you
these
guys
people?
There should be a website
Who
where
are
everybody
these
looks like their driver's license picture.
That'd be nice.
All right, well, we're getting
be
to that.
justice.
We're all going to get to start our
That's
own network.
social justice.
Number
That's
18
social
is
media.
social justice. Number 18 is Ravelry, an online network for knitters and crocheters. Members share
More nitwit.
projects, ideas, and their collection of yarn, fiber, and tools. The site has forums, groups, and friend-related features that give people ways to interact with other knitters and crocheters. Photos can be added to projects and stash pages, and also to forum posts by connecting to the user's own Flickr or Photo Bucket or Picasa or Instagram account by uploading photo directly from the user's computer or iPhone. And as a bonus, we get a second number 18. I'm not sure if this was a mistake in the article, but there's two number 18s. And the second number 18 is Reddit.
There's two number 18s.
Yeah. Well, not exactly a niche network. Reddit boasts, hold on, I clicked on the wrong thing.
Reddit is home to thousands of communities. Whether you're breaking into homes, whether you're into breaking news, sports.
Anybody here?
TV fan theories.
It's next door.
It's next door. Or a never-ending stream of the internet's cutest animals. Oh, God. Yeah, there's a community on Reddit for you.
Reddit.
None of these take your fancy? Take your fancy? Then why not just go out of the house?
All right, so
that's not what it says.
All right, so if you could,
that's why there's two number 18s.
Cynical.
All right, we don't all have to answer this question, but if you could start your own niche network, what would it be? Shalita.
Well, honestly, I do not tailor my thoughts towards niches because I believe in all of humanity and creating universal connections and universal things and being inclusive of every human being.
Even knitters?
Huh?
Even knitters and crocheters? Yes.
Well, I believe that everyone has certain behaviors, and I'd like to be curious and look at things that I'm not familiar with. And so for me, I like to see things that I've never seen before.
Which in fact is a niche of its own. You are a niche.
You find the universal threads more interesting. Yeah.
Let's go back to the yarn site.
I said thread, not yarn, Danny.
You can travel.
Okay.
Aren't they the same?
So, all right, if you could start a niche network, what would it be, Jamie?
If I could start a niche network, I would start a niche network about niche networks.
All right, that's pretty good.
I think I would call Nichester, I think, or Niche Book.
Nichester.
Okay, let's check the domain name.
Yeah, let's check it. Yeah, that's
one niche under God,
or
Shalita's good at this.
Insta niche, something like that.
Let's see. What else were we going to talk about?
Wait, can I have a comment on that?
Yeah.
Because I
Yes,
actually
of
do have a
course.
social network idea. I'm obsessed with costumes. I'm a huge cosplay freak. Like this year for Halloween, which I can't even believe I'm revealing this, I'm actually doing a mashup of costumes. So I'm doing Maud Apatow from Euphoria when she dresses Bob Ross, and then I'm also doing another one where and I'm going to have her picture, and I'm going to hand out a piece of paper with little happy trees on it that I'll paint right there. And then I also am doing Miss Argentina as Lydia Dietz from Beetlejuice. So it's her dressed as Lydia. So it's like that kind of construct of what makes a character, and then how do you identify that and mash it up?
I was going to say, how do all those combine?
Yeah,
I'm excited. I don't know. I haven't found out yet. That's what I was doing before the show. I was still researching my Amazon list.
So do you have a name?
Award a cash prize to anyone who guesses who you are?
No. I mean, most people are going to think I'm Bob Ross, but once I show the actual picture, I take things very literally. So hopefully my accuracy is on point. But yeah, I'm obsessed with costumes, and I think it's a great conversation starter. It's a great way to engage people because people just walk right up to you and want pictures, and it's super cool. And I take it very, very seriously. I stay super committed to the character. Okay. So it just makes it fun. Makes it fun for everyone.
Just by the way, this is not a headband. Those are actually cat ears that she's grown out of her passion.
She's so committed.
Yeah.
I just wear what I want to wear. Yeah.
I love it.
She wears her Snapchat filter.
She wears her ears on her sleeve, except it's on her head.
Into real life. Specifically,
I want to see a picture of that when you're done with that.
Oh, of course. Yeah, I'll tag you in it, Mama. I think we're Facebook friends, actually.
Specifically referencing Goodreads and Strava, a recent Vice article calls this the rise of wholesome social media. Gareth Mills from Strava, which allows users to track workout achievements, is quoted as saying, "I think the days of having endless social networks filled with everyone you've ever met but have no shared interests with are numbered, and that the future is social networks reliant on vertical interests. If you had to choose between engaging with a network of people with shared offline interests that benefits you in the real world on one hand, or endless, boring, annoying, or frustrating interactions on larger platforms intent on mining your personal data on the other, for many the choice seems clear." So I agree with Shalita that we have more in common than we have different, but maybe if we kind of balance our kind of grand social media experiences with niche ones, we can have a more well-rounded.
So here's a question for everybody, though. Yeah. So you're out in your Facebook world, and you've got all these people, and some people you have one or two things in common with, some people you have none, some people you shared grade 4 with. So there are commonalities to every relationship.
Yeah, it's like you have blood, I have blood.
So you can you end up trimming some maybe that just kind of fall off after 2 exchanges, but it seems like there are commonalities. Like I think Shalita was talking to this before. Of she sees the commonality in everything, and the things that we have in common. So sometimes the niching of it cuts people out that don't want to be cut out.
What I want to go ahead, Shalita.
It creates a bubble, and so if we only hang out with people that think the same thing that we do, we're not challenged.
I agree.
And it's important to find people who think things really differently than you do, so that you can expand your worldview, because if you only do what's comfortable, then you do not grow.
Right.
And that's Facebook in its current form, though, because based upon the algorithm, it's confirmed biased. So based on the content that you like and you engage with, you're only seeing content that you like and engage with based upon what your own interests are. That's why I think we're so polarized right now as a society, is because, you'll sit there and have your, whether it beliefs in political or animals or whatever it is, you start to put that out in the world, but then you're only visually seeing content that is like that back, literally. So it's creating your crazy uncle who has his views, who would just say it at the holidays, now has that confirmed bias every time he logs in.
Well, what I wanted to ask or posit to the panel is, isn't it possible that when we post on Facebook and Twitter, we're rolling the dice that something particularly pithy may go viral, and that invites us to be edgier or even more cruel, whereas on a niche network, the idea is simply to communicate. So if you're simply answering a question on Quora, you're not going to call someone an ugly name, or you're not going to.
You might. I mean, some people have that personality that they want to create drama, or they want to, they want attention. So while I agree that you want to open yourself up to different experiences and meet other people, which is great, for some people that are working all the time and are already, engaging with various people, especially communities of color, you might want a safe space. So when you go online, you actually want something that is more entertainment related. You may not want, to talk about politics all the time. You may want to go into a group all about costumes and fluffy stuff, because that makes you feel good. Everybody consumes media very, very, very differently. And yes, you put a certain part of your persona online for various reasons, work reasons sometimes, but we can't expect everybody to just, let's throw it all out there. Let's invite everyone, because it's just not safe anymore. You guys mentioned it. People can follow you at your house. They can send you stuff. I think that once you have a certain level of notoriety, that's happened. Somebody followed me at Cost Plus, and that was the weirdest thing ever. And that made me cut down my Facebook by thousands of people.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. They followed me. They followed me at Cost Plus, and it was the weirdest thing. It's unnerving.
Well, Anna, can you talk about how you've taken your online relationships offline and built networks?
Oh, yeah. I've done it for several things. I mean, the Lifestyle Bloggers Collective was literally a network, the first lifestyle blogger network that was created online, created a conference that ran for various years before any other lifestyle conference. Some of them don't even exist. Thousands of women came, and thousands of readers also came. And brand partners, etc. And that created jobs and opportunities for these women, because it wasn't just like the fluffy conferences that are happening now. Let's give you a manicure, let's give you a photo op in front of a flower wall. But it was actually giving them tools and resources to create a business, tangible business that would get them into a corporate space. So it wasn't like the fluffy thing. And now with the Writers Brunch, I'm creating a network for screenwriters that are at the mid-level working in entertainment, not people that are hoping to work in entertainment, but people that already work in entertainment, but they're also screenwriters. So from that, we meet once a month. We have we have a brunch, and then we also have a private group as well. So use it for, the way I use it, it's been beneficial for me to gain traction with work, to, build my network, build my readership. The reason I got a feature film that I just announced was literally online because of the lists that are being created for writers. So it's a big world out there. It's great, but it doesn't work if you have thousands of followers. And I think I shared this with you before. I had a brand partnership with a retail brand. I don't want to say the name. And they partnered up with a blogger, and the blogger had tens of thousands of followers, and she was all over Instagram and supposedly the top in her industry. And she had this big event at this retail place, and people showed up. Not a single person shopped. They just showed up for free drinks and free appetizers. Then, as a favor, they asked me if I would do it. I did it. I invited, maybe 20 people showed up. We shopped into thousands of dollars in 2 hours. So just numbers mean nothing.
Quality, not quantity.
It's all, and I've said this before when I've been, in your show, and I say this all the time, you can have tens of thousands of people, and who are you influencing? And what is that influence? They're listening to, I don't know, your tweet, they're reading it, they're resharing it. Like, how does that translate to real world, like something? Behaviors, like if you're talking about marketing and you're talking about, advertising, like it has to translate into shopping. If you're a musician, Shalita, you have music, well, it better translate into people downloading your music or going to your concert. Otherwise, what's the point? So, online, it's all smoke and mirrors sometimes. Like you see people and you're like, oh, wow, they have tens of thousands of followers. Well, they could have purchased them. They could have gotten them online.
But they're all going off the cliff.
Yeah, like seriously. And you look at them and I can see it and be like, that's all fake. That's so fake. It's
fake followers.
Yeah, it's not resulting in anything. And again, it all depends on what you want to do. If you've had some freaky people following you around, absolutely put your stuff on lockdown. My Facebook is private. It's not private, meaning like I will only add Facebook friends if I know you personally, if I've shared bread with you, worked with you, whatever. Twitter, anyone can follow me. Facebook pages, anyone can follow me. Same with my website, but I monitor every single comment because I get some freaky comments. Instagram, I no longer do live stuff anymore on a rarity because, again, there's freaks online. You don't want people showing up at your home when you're not home. You don't want people following you across town at a store. It's just weird. But if you're putting together a blogger event, a writer event for screenwriters, you absolutely want people to come. But you want to curate the people that come to make sure that you're actually reaching out and connecting to the people that you want. So, for example, the last gathering I had, for the first time ever, there was 3 people that weren't actually working in Hollywood, that weren't actually working in TV. And it made the event so different. So I had to make a really hard call. And I spoke to somebody at the WGA about this and Women in Film. And I'm like, I feel horrible having to curate these people and tell them that this is not the space for them. I want to give them somewhere else to go because it's not conducive to creating the community that I want and that everybody has come to expect.
But isn't it similar?
So she sent them to Cost Plus.
Just saying.
No, I sent them to a group that a friend of mine runs for startup writers, people that are trying to break into the industry.
Well, it's just like if you went into a college class called Writing 303 and they could say, well, you need to take Writing 101. It's,
Exactly. You just have to curate it. I mean, I think we all want to say everything is great and open, and it is, and we want to democratize, social media as much as possible. But to make it safe and to make it conducive to really doing what you needed to do for you, and everybody's experience is obviously different, you have to do some curation.
Right.
And again, it was really, really hard for me. I mean, I met with the WGA, I met with Women in Film. I'm like, oh my God, I feel horrible. I'm going to have to do this. And they were like, yeah, you're going to have to do it because startup writers are actually not going to get what they need out of it.
Right.
You're going to
because they're not ready.
But that's great that you did it, though. You saw that and you actually did something for them. So you still accomplished
and I didn't just kick them out.
I
literally said, this is a community that is run by my friend that is for startup writers, that is for people that are starting out in the industry. I didn't just throw them out into the world and say like, hey, good luck.
Right.
Because somebody gave me a hand too when I was starting out, but I have to be true to my mission and what I promised people from the get-go, because there's people that have been going from every single brunch I put together and they're spending their money. And while I don't make any money from this, the experience of connecting with other like-minded writers that are going through the same road that I'm going through is invaluable. Because although in LA you think everybody is writing a script and everybody wants to be an actor and everybody breaks into a party, it's very few of us that actually work in the industry. And it's very few of us that, that have that time and that opportunity to connect in a safe space. So I had to do that.
Right.
It was really, really hard to do, but I had to.
All right. Well, we're going to jump to Facebook feed time because we need to wrap up our show. It's been a wonderful, excellent conversation. But Facebook feed time comes to us from our own Matthew Jordan, who has been right here on the show. And this is what he posted today. The last time he joined us for the podcast, he was hoping that he would book this gig with the Beach Boys, and he did, and he's just had an amazing experience.
Oh, that's great.
And he wrote, I'm back. My run with the Beach Boys has come to an end. For now, these shows have been the greatest experience of my life on stage to date. I am so very grateful to the entire Beach Boys family for welcoming me with open arms. I think he had just an absolutely sensational summer on the road with the Beach Boys.
It was fun.
All summer long.
All summer long. Here we go. We could keep going for days. Thank you to our friends and our guests, Jen Friel, Shalita, and Anna Lydia Monaco. Our panel is Danny Mann. Our producer is Dina Friedman. And, of course, Jamie Alcroft is here.
Of course.
Our tech team is, it looks like it's Francesco Demanda and Lane McFadden. Our sound mixer is John Maddox. Our webmaster is Bill Filipiak. I am Louise Palanker. Be safe, be well, be kind.